This is going to be a live recording of at least the first macro here from 9:45 to 10:15, and that way you guys get an insight onto what I look at live during a trading session. So let's get into it. We've just opened up here at 9:30, and I don't execute until 9:42. And then what I'm looking for today is shorts. So if we look at the hourly chart, we have been bullish all week. The weekly opens down here. We have SMT at the highs between ES and NQ. Okay, right here. We have displaced lower yesterday. We have CSD on NQ and ES. And now I'm looking at these two PD arrays for price to go lower and continue this sell model. So I'm looking at sells to complete this model here, taking out previous week low. That would be like the bigger target. Today, obviously, probably just going to look for prior day low, yesterday's low, down here at 320, and especially if we get below 500. So yeah, looking at this, we have a breaker, inversion fair value gap, and a breaker holding down price. We have SMT at the highs. That's looking all bearish at the moment. ES, we have a breaker here with a bullish order block, SMT at the highs here. Targets down below. And we're just waiting. So I like to wait to 9:42 to execute, unless it's super, super obvious, which right now it's not. But that is what I wait for. So I like the run higher. That's what I want to see. I'd like to see a manipulation of this high here, the previous cycle. We have SMT here on ES. What we don't have is SMT at the SMR. Okay, I'd like to see SMT at the SMR there. So you could consider this the SMR and this just another leg lower, but that doesn't get me interested right now. And if it does play lower, I can just get in later. But as of now, I don't want to see the high made at the same time. So 9:31, there's a high made on ES and NQ. That doesn't excite me for shorts like that. I want to see an SMT right there. Let's look at YM. YM made the high at 9:32. There's a 1 minute deviation in price there, so that's okay. But what I like to see there is like a time cycle SMT. So YM looks good for shorts if you're trading a YM. If you're a YM trader, we have SMR at the SMT at the SMR there. Like those shorts will be valid if we displace. And if you want to use that for ES, for NQ, you could. I wouldn't. ES is much more probable. And this is all why I avoid these first like 10 minutes. Because you get a lot of fake moves here. So let it play out, wait for that first macro, and then go from there. So if you look at it as left side of the curve, SMR, right side of the curve, you can just follow price, closed above that PD array. Next PD array would be here. Bearish order block. Looks like we're going to close above that. I want to see that used as support. I'm not interested in longs. So you can just work your way up that left side of the curve, and as well as working your way up the right side of the curve. So, right here, nice level of support, ran higher. If price would break through that, I would want to see that used as resistance. So, if we start to sell off, I've already got this side of the curve marked out. And just anticipating what could potentially happen. So that's SMR at the that's SMT at the SMR there. Time cycle. So I'm actually gonna wait for one of three things to happen: inversion fair value gap, breaker, or an inversion fair value gap plus breaker, which would be all the way down here. So when I look at this, there's nothing to play off of. So I would zoom in here a little bit, okay? I would zoom into the 15-second and see if I can find some more expansions, retracements, and find something to play off of. There's not really anything here except this, okay? Which, that could be a short if we close down below that, but that also kind of just lines up with this fair value gap. So there's no real reason to use it. I would just use the 1 minute fair value gap. And if that inverts, take a short with the stop above the high. It's exactly what you want to see. I'm bearish SMT at the SMR between ES. Just made another new high there, so that's interesting because we've now likely formed a breaker plus fair value gap here. And yeah, that would be good for shorts. If we get down below that, that's a CSD. That's a change in the state of delivery. We've used this as support. We ran higher. Breaker. Okay. Now let's go back out here. We've made a new high. Cycle SMT. Let's zoom in here at the 15-second. We have a breaker. Ran lower, took stops, ran higher. If we close down below, that's a breaker. That's SMT at the SMR. And that would be valid for shorts. It looks pretty good. ES has confirmed. Now if this closes below, I will go short. Let's check out the risk here. What are we looking at? I risk 2%. Looking at 4 cons. Probably drop it to 3. Give myself a little room and then add another. As is, if we close down below. Okay, made a new high. Still have SMT. And we have completed the buy model. Okay, taking the high of the day. We no longer have the Asia high SMT, but we do have cycle SMT for now. Looks like longs are really starting to pick up here. Let's go into the hourly. Remember, this is the POI. This is where I want to take shorts from. Same thing with ES. Let's get that out of there. Okay, looks like ES is taking that high as well. So now we have no SMT at the highs other than the yesterday's high SMT between ES and NQ. Still would like to take a short, for sure. Looks like YM starting to reject. So let's get in here. And I want to cycle SMT. I want to time cycle SMT. I don't just want to 3 minute or higher. Is what's going to get me into a short. Now we have it with YM. We definitely have SMT with YM. YM's made the high at 9:30 and rolled lower, while ES and NQ are just running higher. So there is SMT there with YM. You can see it quite obviously. So we have it there with YM, which is okay. I could still go with that. Fair value gap. See what the 15-second brings. Not much. Just a large fair value gap. Sub 3 minute SMT at the highs between ES. So in this scenario, I would want the 1 minute chart to really lead the way for ES and NQ. We have SMT at the SMR here between YM. So a short would be okay. You know, if this really breaks down here and closes through that, I could take a short based on YM SMT. So if we do continue higher, obviously we're in this larger buy model here, left side, right side, which we've been working all week, which is probable. I mean, we can definitely make a valid point to take longs, especially if we get a nice closure like that on the hourly in these next 15 minutes. You know, that could really confirm bullishness here. But until then, I'll be using this. Same with the ES. I mean, if we really close above this gap here, this is a balanced price range, then I wouldn't consider long shorts anymore. Let's get back on NQ. This is the time where it would have to reverse. So into the macro, it's kind of like a do or die moment here between the two. Because if we keep continuing up and close higher, then that's definitely bullish. And then we'll just continue higher all day, or at least until the PM. But we are now in the macro, 9:45, ES and Q in sync. Longs are good. And YM starting to turn to the upside as well. But to me, this looks good for shorts. This is just a run higher, a manipulation higher, and we're going to continue lower, or we will retrace. So, you know, this is what I want to see. I'm very confident in a short here if we get the right steps, especially before 10. If we're down within this POI before 10, like I don't want to close up here after 10 or before 10 p.m. or 10 a.m. Sorry, because that would mean the hourly closure is above this POI and that it's invalidated, and then we would look long. But as of now, this is what I would prefer for a short. We have a nice left side of the curve here. First target would be previous cycle low. Fair value gap's kind of far. So I would zoom in, see what we have on the 15 second, and it looks pretty nice here. This order block formed support, ran higher. I would consider that a CSD. On the 1 minute, it's not, but that's okay. I'd like to get an SMT at the SMR here. But we do have it with YM. Remember that, like it's still valid with YM. And we have an inversion fair value gap, so that's the first sign of a CSD. If we look at ES, that would be the first sign of a CSD. The least probable is the IFVG. This would be the higher probability if we get down below that level on a closing basis. And you could take a short. Looks like we're going to close there on NQ. This could be a good short. This could be a good short, but I would wait until we close on ES. Just to get that extra confirmation, because we have ran higher pretty quickly. And there's no SMT relative to the SMR with ES. So this would put me probably 3 cons, yeah, 3 contracts. I'll start with 2. So not yet. I want to see that close down below to confirm. Maybe we get another run higher here, which would be nice. That would be ideal. ES to run higher. NQ remains. And it looks like we did. Looks like we made a new high. So we have a 3-minute SMT now. And this would be a very good short. We just need ES to confirm. So let's get in here, mark this out. I need this breaker to get inverted for shorts. Okay, that's a nice breaker. It's also in line here. And let's look at here. So that looks good as well. We have an inversion fair value gap, but I wouldn't wait on that. I'm definitely not going to wait on that. If ES delivers down below this breaker, I would get in. That would get me short. This is enough already on NQ, but what I'm waiting on is ES. I want the indices to be in sync when I take this trade. And this will save you a lot of money and a lot of headaches if you're trying to catch reversals. To just be patient and wait on ES and NQ to line up together. It will save you a ton of money. Just wait on them to align and perform CSD together, start moving to the downside, and then you can take a short or a long based on whatever you're looking at. Made a new high on ES, so let me move this up. Let's go into the 15-second. And then we're looking at a new setup here. So we have a nice fair value gap, breaker, closure down below, gets me short. Looks like ES is still hanging on there, or NQ. If we close that, I'm going short. This is just how you do it. This is just exactly how you trade reversals. You just be patient. Once it turns your way, you just hammer it. But until then, you just have to be patient. We could make a new high here, invalidating the SMT, which would invalidate any shorts at the moment. And we have 5 minutes until the hourly closure. Made a new high on ES. Made a new high on NQ. We'll zoom back out to the 1 minute because we no longer have the setup. Made a new high on YM as well. So now we have all indices moving higher. High being made at 954, 954, and 954. So this, to me, is not good for shorts at the moment. So then I just wait. We have 3 minutes left until the hour closes, and we're right at the level here, right at the POI. So I would need to see, there's the SMT with YM. Now, I'm okay with that taking a short if we get CSD. So we need CSD with both here, IFVG, breaker, okay, 3-minute SMT there. I like that. This would be good here. If we roll lower now, I would take a short. We have a mitigation block and a breaker. Still valid. Shorts are still valid here if we close down below. If we close down below here, I would take a short. Stop above the high. Probably a 4 contract trade. Let's see. Yeah. So let's probably start with 3 here. Made a new high. Still didn't make a new high on NQ. CSD still remains the breaker. NQ here as well. Just waiting on them both to sync up, and I would take a short. Need ES to close down below here. But it just keeps running higher. And it's 10 o'clock. Let's check out the 10 o'clock closure. Closed above the POI. So now the likelihood of a short here would just be a retracement. If I get a short, it would just be a retracement. I'm not going to look to take prior day low. We've inverted both of these here. This fair value gap on ES. We've inverted the breaker on NQ. We've also climbed above this level here on NQ. And we've climbed above, okay. Still up in that level. We still have the SMT on the daily highs. Until that gets removed, I'm not super confident in longs. But yeah, a short now would be retracement down, prior cycle low would be ultimate target. but it's definitely lower probability now because we've inverted the PD arrays that I was looking at. But let's see how it plays out. I think we're making new highs all around the board here. Okay, new highs at 10, new highs at 10, and new highs at 10 on YM. So that's not going to do it for me for a short. YM looks very good for shorts. We're in this breaker. So to me, that could easily roll over. But for ES and NQ, we're just going to sit and wait. That's the name of the game, really. You sit and wait, and then you take your opportunity when you get it. 10 a.m. still is the high on both. I would need a 3-minute SMT. Okay, we have the SMT with YM. YM making a new high there at 03. Same with ES. NQ lags. Time to zoom in. And time to zoom in even more because I can't see anything there. And as long as NQ does not make the high, we can possibly take a short. So we have a nice level here. Right here is a good solid level. Nice solid level there to play as the CSD. Okay. SMT's gone. So we wait. And I'm not interested in longs either until we pull back. Okay, I'm not gonna chase. Not gonna chase a long. It's not worth it. I'll go back to the 3-minute chart and wait on something obvious. So 10:03, let's just check all three. 10:03, 10:03. Still nothing to do. Everything's running higher. It's okay. I'm okay with not being long. I mean, I'm sure you could have found a long down here, during this macro, 845, 915, taking a long. It's not what I had planned out for today. So there's no point in trying to chase and take this. Like I said, a retracement lower would get me interested. But for now, I'm just waiting. The opportunity will come or it won't. And that's all you can do. You can't change your strategy and protocols just based on this session. I mean, you have to just be patient. But right now, everything's making the highs at the same time. Okay, we have a nice sell-off there. Let's see. The next target is prior day high. That's what I'm looking at between all three. An SMT on the prior day high would be significant for shorts specifically. And we're quite a ways away from all of them except NQ. So I'd be very interested in shorting NQ if we take that prior day high, because that would be the new POI. Session highs, daily highs, weekly highs, monthly highs, would be valid points of interest. So we have SMT now 3 minute, YM making the new highs, ES and Q not. But being so close to the prior day high, I would almost prefer to see that get taken by NQ here. I would prefer that to be taken and then go short. That would be ideal. And again, it would be a retracement. It's not going to be like a Hail Mary short down to the prior day low like I was expecting at the beginning of the day. We are in alignment now, just pushing, and just waiting for that to get taken. I think that's actually going to be a really good short. At least a rebalance. Sometimes you don't get it, but it would be worth it to me. Okay, there it is. Daily SMT. And if you look, ES and Q YM quite a ways behind. So that's significant in my eyes. Still need a 3 minute SMT here. That daily SMT alone is not going to just get me short. I need the rest of the protocol. But it's a good start. I will say that. It's a good start. And the way this works for my protocol is if there is no high or low put in before 10:15, the end of 10:15, so technically takes 10:16, I just move on to the next macro. I need the SMR to occur between 9:45 and 10:15. If that doesn't happen, I just move on. I'm not going to try and trade between 10:15 and 10:45. Okay. Now, that's nice, the rejection, but 10:09 is still the high. Between all three, I need to see more. I will zoom in just to see what price action looks like. And you can see it's relatively the same between ES and NQ. There's really no deviation in the highs or the lows. So we just wait. Now there's a 10-minute cycle SMT, which is interesting. Between 10:09 and 10:10. That's actually enough to get me short. So let's look, and we have a nice fair value gap here. So if we CSD that, and this, which we have, I'll go short. That's clean. That's clean. We've closed. I need this taken out. I need that 10:08 low taken out, and I will be short. Now it is against higher time frame right now, so I might reduce risk if I can. I don't think I really can. Yeah, I can't. Can't quite. CSD. We have a breaker formation on both. It's questionable because it's just the 10-minute cycle SMT. It's literally just like the slightest little bit of SMT, which I'm not like super interested in, but it does hit the protocol, and I will take it. We just need it to deliver here. We need that to really close below. And here we go. There we go. Okay, we're gonna go below. Let me wait on that closure, and then a retest, and I'll go short. Okay, looks good. Both ES and NQ. We didn't close below. I want the closure below this wick. Yeah, it's what I have to have. Now it's really starting to roll over now, but there's time. Like if this is a short, I have plenty of time. There's no rush. So that's a nice array to get short off of. This is another array. That would be the next array. So anything back up into that, I'm going to probably short. We still have SMT on these lows here, which I don't love. I would like ES to take those and then come back up and hit it. Okay. Let's see. Get up in there. Get up in there. I'm gonna lay a short. I can't go full risk. It's just too large of a stop. So I'm about 1% risk right now. It is what it is. Target, cycle low. Now I'll scale in if I can, but I need to reduce risk if I want to add another position. That's the target as of now. I mean, a 50% retracement would be cool too. That's probably the easiest target, about that 600 level would be pretty good. Now I want to see this SMT be removed. I need ES to come down and take that out. And at the moment, that's the only thing holding us back right now is that little SMT. because we have the SMT at the highs. Took prior day high. I mean, it's what you want to short off of. I would take this again and again, but it is against the higher time frame flow right now, which is bullish. But I would take it again. It might just be a loss. You know what I mean? It's just what you have to do. You have to take your chances and put yourself in the highest probability situations. And to me, this is high enough probability to take it. This short would be better if we didn't close through the PD array. But knowing that, I'm considering a 50% of the range profit. And yeah, that's it. So YM's moving lower. ES and Q sort of retracing here. Now there is a 3-minute SMT between NQ and ES within this PD array. So if we roll down from that, I could drag the stop. But until then, the stop remains at the high. This is the SMR at 10:10. We have SMT there as well. I question this SMT here between 10:09 and 10:10. It's just not ideal. It's just the one candle SMT. It is a cycle SMT. It is a time cycle SMT, which is part of the rules. But it just looks odd, being the fact that it's literally basically a 1-minute SMT. It just happens to be within the time cycles. So we'll see. We'll see. It's worth noting that it's not super ideal. So we do have this SMT here, 3-minute. ES is starting to fall a little lower. And this gives me the opportunity to scale as we've retraced, and now we've inverted this. So that's technically another CSD. Now, if I would jam the stop here, that would be a type 2 stop and be less probable. What I want that really to do is get down below this PD array again, down below this IFVG plus breaker, and then drag the stop and maybe add another position on top. But until then, I'll just sit still and take my risk. It's very probable that we make a new high here, form a new SMT. But at that point, I'm not interested because we're past the macro window. We've put in the high at 10:10. Any highs after that, I'm not looking at until around 10:42, 10:45-ish, probably 10:45. And that's what I would be interested in. So we do have a retrace lower. We have SMT on the lows. And that's outside of the macro, so that's not a long for me either. There's just nothing that sets up a long for me at this moment. So like from this macro at 9:45, like none of this is a long for my strategy, for my protocol. So the only thing right now that's presented as an opportunity is this. And if I wouldn't take this, I would be frustrated if it went down into profit and all that. I would be frustrated for not taking it. So the thing I've learned the best is just to take the trades when they present, and that's it. That's all you can do. When your protocol presents, take the trade. The only thing that's outside of the protocol here is we violated the PD array. I mean, that's significant because higher time frame determines everything, but we have daily SMT as the new POI. So, that's, to me, it's worth it. It's a 50-50 ball. But I would take this again and again. And we just wait. I mean, this is not ideal. This is a little bit of a high resistance environment right now, but that's what you expect when you take out a daily high. You expect a little bit of chop and then prices to accumulate and then orders to accumulate and then for something to drop or go higher. I mean, either way. But like I said, the protocol I have, there's no long here. There's only a short. So if we just keep grinding higher, that's just not something I'm going to trade. We still have the SMT. ES is just consolidating. YM is trending down. NQ trending up. So, there's nothing to do. At this point, with this closure, we've violated this PD array, which is significant. Ideally, if this closes bullish, the next candle would really need to roll down and close bearish, or else I'm going to get stopped out. So this would need to close bearish, or else it's going to stop me out. ES is rolling down. YM rolling downwards as well. So NQ would need to go south here. All right, we're getting the push higher. I'm going to get stopped. and that's okay. Like I said, it's just part of it. I would be mad if I didn't take that trade. Now we have a more significant SMT at the SMR here if this becomes an SMR. But I will not get in until 1042. Like if this really turns lower and starts to run, 1042 would be when I want to get in. So we have maybe like this forms an SMR, and then the expansion happens within the macro. That's the idea. So still have the daily SMT. And a more significant cycle SMT now. I do like this better than the last 10-minute SMT because we have swings rather than just one candle. So, it's something to note. Like when I journal this loss, like maybe don't take that trade next time. That's how you learn. Yeah, I mean, for me to take longs, it would have had to been during the first macro, which I don't typically look at. 8:45, 9:15. That would have been it. SMR being 821, SMR being 821, SMR being 820, So it just doesn't line up with my protocol. Because technically that 821 candle is the SMR. It's the lowest point here. And there's, there is an SMT there with ES, but I don't know. Let's just say that's the SMR. Let's look at it as if, and I'm not worried about price right now. I'm not really worried until we get to like 1040. Let's just say that's the SMR, okay? Obviously it played out. Let's look at when our CSD would have been. Okay, so CSD has to occur to the left of here. So this series of gaps, CSD, okay, closed above here, ran back down. We violated it in a way, so it's a little bit high resistance through here. I wouldn't really consider this like a great reversal. But let's see what happens when we get above like something like this, which is nothing but a bearish order block. Still really, that's not a CSD. Let's take this because that took the high, then ran lower. So let's say that whole thing is a breaker. Okay, let's say that is our bullish breaker. So we run higher, go lower, take that out here at 930. Then this becomes our discount array for longs. We don't close through it. We come back. Maybe you can snag an entry there if you're really ready to go long. There's no SMT there, but you do have the protected low of the SMR, and then you have an SMT here between ES and NQ. You have a lower low here, higher low here, and we've got above it, so that could be a possible mitigation, but it's on the right side of the curve. Still holds. And then what do we do here? 930 we open, come back. So it's pretty good. That looks pretty good, really. If you were looking at that, that would be the long. Down in here, taking the long, riding it higher, getting above this. Now at this point, I will just use an order block. CSD needs to be one of three things: IFVG, breaker, breaker plus IFVG. We got above here, ran through it a little more, came back, closed above, tested, ran higher. Let's take a look at this. Closed above, didn't test it, and we just took off. So let's look at the original consolidation or the prior cycle high. Just blasted right through it. So I mean, yeah, if you were able to take a long there, that's obviously like the best trade of the morning. But for me, it's not what I look at. I don't look at that first macro. Although one thing to note is on no news days, which today is a no news day, this macro is very important. I have noticed that. So that might be something to look at when there's no news. Like maybe check that first macro just to see, put a little more focus on it and see how we're developing. Because I've noticed that macro produces a lot of trades, a lot of swing high, swing lows that remain on a no news day. So maybe that's something to look at going forward. All right, we're getting close to the point where I might take another trade. Let's just see where we're at. Let's go 3 minute. Let's go actually to the hourly and just see where everybody's at here. We still have SMT. Okay. Still the daily SMT, so like a short would still be okay if we get a setup. What kind of POIs do we have over here? I mean, we have these gaps. We have the... Let's see what the weekly looks like. Okay. So I think like any type of short, like we're probably not getting above that right now, okay? Like that could be a short POI. And then maybe just take it back down into this breaker or back into the prior day high. or the PD array that we used this morning. So let me put that into discount, because if we come back into that, that's a definite long. And let's zoom in here and see what we're looking at. All right, so it looks like we have SMT with YM and not quite with ES. So just a YM SMT. I'll be right back. Gotta piss. All right, so YM SMT, 30-minute cycle SMT on YM. Okay, see that there? And then we have the high created at 10:33 and 10:30. Ooh, is that an equal high? Let's see, 413, 413. Yeah, this is interesting for shorts. Very much so. Yes, and Q. All right, 10:34 high. All right, 3-minute SMT. That's good. That's good. Although it's not here, we do have the SMT at the SMR here. Which is interesting. Let me turn that on. Let's take a look here. Okay, let's see what we have going on. This could be good. We have the SMT at the SMR, but that is with YM. Boom, boom, boom. Looks okay. ES looks pretty good. Inversions, all those. Okay, cool. Let's see what a short would look like here. Inversion fair value gap would be the CSD here. If we close below, we have the SMT with ES. Not ideal, but okay, CSD. The next array is here. I want to see the closure here. Okay, I want to see a closure and a retest. The stop's going to be large, it seems. Yeah, 30 points. Let's see. I think that's going to put me at maybe 2 contracts. 3. Okay, that's good. A little bit better. I'm gonna go with 2 because it's against the higher time frame. So, all right, I'll take a short there on the retrace if we hit that gap. If we hit that IFVG, I would take that. Come back and hit it. Okay, I'm short. Stop can go here, or it could also go here now that we've displaced below. We have SMT at the SMR. 1034 is the high. 1011 is the high on YM. But these highs here are important because if you look, it's SMT with ES. We've displaced on both. So potential for a short. Yeah. So we've made a low there at 1042 with the low being the same time. There's no SMT there. So I'm okay with this short. Need to respect that, get down below this. So that's the main thing. This is also a breaker, although it is on the right side of the curve. We have to respect that as well. And if this loses, I'm done. I'm okay with it. This is a good trade to me with the higher time frame SMT. And like I said, it's just against the order flow, which is okay. You just have to know that and this is not like that's not gonna happen. You know what I mean? Like we're bullish. So I just want a piece of the pie here. So that 600 level or back into this PD array. Or if we drop lower and then form a nice bullish reversal, that would get me out and it'd be done. But it's in line with the protocol and you have to take it if you're willing to take something against higher time frame order flow, which in this scenario I am because it has daily SMT. Moving lower on YM, moving lower on ES. I want this 1042 low. I don't want there to be SMT on that low. Like I want us to take that out when ES takes it out. It's very close right now. SMT on the highs there, significant. I would like to see that hold and price roll lower. If it holds and rolls lower, I would probably reduce stop there and probably add a position, especially if we get down below this PD array, because that would really signify. This is the best PD array right here. This is what you really want on, it's the highest probability. Okay, you have a breaker, fair value gap. Okay, if we close down below that, that is the highest probability PD array for longs and shorts. IFVG plus breaker. Now it's not the cleanest breaker. I'm sure you'd probably see it a little better on, you know, the 15-second. It drops down, takes the stops here, rolls higher. So, you know, it's a smaller time frame breaker, but we take that low, that makes it a breaker if we get down below it. Took the low, took the high, now took the low again. SMT here remains. ES is now moving lower. It should take these. ES has taken this low. We have SMT now again. At this point, I'm going to zoom into the 15-second and see what we have here. So if we get down below and close below here, I'll reduce. I'm already going to reduce to here because I don't want price to come back. So if we close down below, doesn't want to do it. There we go. Okay, closed. Down below that PD array, SMT at the high of that PD array. So a stop reduction would be valid. So I could add right now. Like ideally I should add. I'm down though on the day. So I'm not going to risk any more than I have to. Because technically stop could still be here. You know what I mean? Like we didn't displace down below this array yet. And these are just fair value gaps. So I probably will leave it there, honestly, just to see what happens here. Because we are forming SMT still. That 1046 high. 1043 is the high. Okay. Yeah, I mean there's still SMT there between ES and YM, between ES and NQ. And I get burned on these a lot when I move the stop too tight, so I just I'm just going to leave it today. Now if we make another run lower here, I will move it because we've closed, tested, closed. I'll definitely move it now. See where we're at on the cycles. Okay. I mean, just getting below this current cycle would be an okay profit. Not expecting a whole lot from this trade. We are moving lower on all three indices at the moment. Now I will reduce. Okay, one tick above, that's all. One tick. All right. We're below it, it should hold. SMT, it should hold. If we're going to sell, that all should hold. I'm okay with leaving the stop there at this point. Obviously, that's a bit lofty, but let's get the rangefinder out and, just consider that for the moment. To go down to 23,500, this level would be more of a lunchtime trade. I don't think I'll hold this for that long, so I'm gonna try and take it here. But okay, so we've closed below this breaker. Next would be the IFVG, so we could mark this. Kind of you want to see that hold at this point. It's formed support, resistance, But my eyes are here at that low. I want to see that get closed below. I don't like these SMTs. Okay, so like I said, we are bullish. So a retracement lower could be just a retracement lower for another expansion higher. So we need to keep that in mind as price runs lower. Because if we see our setup, our bullish setup, then we need to go out. We need to get out of this short and go long potentially because it's in line with higher time frame order flow. As you can see, we're just retracing, so I don't expect this to dump. So I will be watching any type of CSD to the upside could get me long, although that would put me at 3 trades on the day, and I don't really want to do that. And these are YM as well. Like I don't care that much about the YM SMT. What I really want though is an SMT on ES relative to NQ. Because as you can see, like YM's already well below the rest of the these two. I'm just going to take that off just to clear it up. I have another screen open to the left here of my computer, so I'm monitoring ES and YM independently. That's how I know like what's actually going on the different time frames. But you guys don't see that here on the video. And I know this is super long, but this is a very valuable recording and session, and I hope that you guys are all listening to this point. I know you probably want to fast forward through some spots, but there are some valuable lessons here, and this is my strategy. I'm laying it out in this live video, so there's nothing better than this to actually take away learning points, talking points, protocol points. All right, we're below it. That's got to hold now, okay? That's formed as support, ran higher. We formed as resistance. That's got to form resistance. We do have SMT on the cycle low, okay? Significant there. ES has taken that low. Break even would be okay here. Not ideal. Like price could still come up and test up in here. So break even is not on the table right now. And as a matter of fact, I don't think that. So 400 is the low. 400. Okay, so we've actually not taken this low yet. We've not taken that 1016 low yet on ES, so I'm still going to be patient. And just let this play out. Like I said, SMR before the macro, we expect expansion during the macro, and I'll get in as early as 1042. Okay. Executions are here. This is a live account. You've seen that at the beginning of the video. Live AMP account. I've tried prop firms. I've passed prop firms. I have got funded accounts, made tons of money on prop firms, but I always end up blowing the account because I always end up developing bad habits on the prop firm because the prop firm requires you to develop bad habits to pass them. It requires you to overtrade. So I've just moved to a live account, and I'll remain on a live account. And I don't need to do a prop firm. Like if you can make 40, 50% a month, you don't need a prop firm. And that's exactly what I can do. Moving lower, let's find a new PD array. So the way I'll do that, we can leave that one. Well, let's not. So I want to see something obvious like this. This would be the next most obvious one. Okay, that's a bullish order block that has formed as support, and now we need to get below it. Okay, we can also move up the ladder a little bit and use this order block, and I think we've closed below that. So we've ran higher, ran lower, used it as support, and then ran higher. Now we're closing below it. We want to use that as resistance. We can use this order block. Okay, ran higher, ran lower. It's not fat. I like a fat body order block. Okay, and I also like price to just do more than this. I don't consider that a displacement lower yet. We have ran lower, but to me, that's not it. I want to see a little bit more. So like another candle closure lower would make me interested in using this PD array. So for now, I'm going to stick to just this fair value gap that we have used as support. And I will go break even at this point. I'll put it at like $5 or something. We'll take care of the fees. AMP has really low commissions. I think I pay $1 per contract, so $2, a little over $2 maybe. So that's definitely in the money. Not losing money on this trade. Now, if you have a larger account and you're in minis, you know, you're up like $600 right now. So actually, you're up way more than that. It would be 600 with one contract. So you're up like 1,200. So, I mean, that's plenty. I'm on a small account, $7,000, a little over $7,000. So I risk 2%. And this is for you guys who made it this far in the video. I risk 2% on a small account like this. So like $140 a trade would be the max. And that's just what it is. If I have a larger account, 1% would be plenty. But as a smaller account, sub 10K, like a 2% risk is fine. Like you don't want to take forever to make money. So 2%. If you want to grow exponentially, sorry, I'm not going to talk right now. We have SMT at the lows, SMT at the SMR, if this is an SMR, and it looks pretty good actually for a reversal. We have a cycle SMT. We have made the low at 1101 on all three. So what gets us out? Let's see. What is a CSD to the upside? We have a fair value gap here, okay? That's CSD. You know, if I zoom into the lower time frame, it's probably a nice breaker here. It's probably a nice breaker. Nah, not really. It doesn't really look good, honestly. It doesn't look good. Let's stick to the 1 minute. So CSD now actually would, I don't even know. It just looks so ugly. I mean, you have the breaker, you have the fair value gap. That fair value gap's not respected. I guess it would be here on the 15-second. You have the run lower. Yeah, it's just not. That's not it. It doesn't look good. ES is running higher. ES looks better. Like, that's a CSD on ES. Like, if we zoom here, that's nice. That's a nice CSD. Okay. But if you look at NQ, it's kind of ugly. Like, we did close over this candle. Okay. Breaker. Should I get out? Should I go with the higher time frame order flow? That's what you have to ask yourself in this situation. Like, that's a CSD, that's a breaker. But we have SMT. We have SMT with ES on the highs. Let's go to the 15-second and see what this does. It looks good on ES. It looks way better on ES than it does in Q. So, like, you could just reverse your position here. Just get out, reverse it. I just don't like the SMT on the high, and then it's not really at the POI. It's in this fair value gap. Let's see what the 15-minute looks like. I don't know. Breaker, SMT. I mean, I think I'm going to reverse the position or just get out. I think I'm just going to get out for now. SMT's removed. Yeah, I got to get out. Okay, so out of that short. Now, the reason being we have a 30-minute cycle SMT. So if this is SMT at the if this is reversal, we do have SMT at the SMR being between the cycles. Okay, so if you open this up and you open the cycles, okay, you're going to see a 30-minute cycle here, which I was referring to earlier as these lows, the 1016 lows. You know, it's going to, ES will be lower, obviously. So, you know, I would like this 1101 low to be not the same on both, but given the fact we have that cycle SMT, like a long would be valid here. But for me, I'm not that comfortable in taking it because I'm pretty much like break even on the day, and I've taken 2 trades. So, you know, what I'm probably gonna do is let's just look and see where we ended up with this PD array. Okay, we did close below and then we closed back above. I mean, it's probably a better long right now, really. Like, if I can find something, if I can find like a nice retracement, I could get long here, stop below 1101. Like, this is more in line with higher time frame order flow, so a closure above there, we need to respect it. And then let's see, we have SMT here on the 1 minute between these 2 candles, so you could jam a stop up there if you really wanted to, but I don't know. I don't really like overtrading. I overtraded yesterday, so for me to like overtrade back-to-back days, it would just put me in a mood going into the weekend. So I would prefer not to do that. Save myself the headache. looks like all you guys took the same short. That's actually okay. I think that short was pretty good, other than what I talked about in the video. Let's get back on the chart. So this is the current long. I mean, this is good. I mean, it's within order flow, breaker. Probably should have taken this. If I didn't lose that first trade, I would have taken this. But now I'm back to break even, and like I really didn't want to like reverse out of a trade and then have it take me in a loss, and then that trade that I got out of went into profit even more. So I've done that before. It's on a Friday to do something like that and go into the weekend. It's pretty frustrating. So let's just follow this and see if I made the right call to get out. That's enough for me, and it looks like I did already. I mean, this is enough. Like, it's already closed above, like we're rolling now. I mean, this is a really good trade. I should be in this, but considering what had happened today already, I'm okay with not being in it. Now, if we get an SMT on a distribution cycle here, I might get in. I might take a little risk here, because the actual draw on liquidity now becomes the prior weekly high and the prior month high, being July. So a long would be very valid and could run pretty well into the close of the day. So just keep that in mind. Still have the daily SMT though, which is not ideal. If we didn't have daily SMT, obviously I wouldn't have taken that short, but I would also be in this long. But that daily SMT is concerning. Okay, this PD array has to hold. I mean, to me, it looks like a short still. Just yeah, it looks like a short, but you just have to follow your protocol in a situation like this. Like during the macro, okay, yeah, we had the short expansion, and then we have another formation here on the low and a CSD, and it's in line with bullish order flow for the day. Just have to stick to your protocol. So we do have SMT here between YM on the highs. No SMT with ES. Looks like we're violating that PD array, so potentially could be going short again. Okay, SMR here. That would be nice if there was some SMT there, but there's not. 1049, 1049. Yeah, there's no SMT there, so other than with YM, but I don't want to use that. I don't want to use YM right now. I don't want to use YM when ES and NQ look identical. If YM looked more like NQ than ES does, I would use YM, but right now, this looks like that. SMT on the low, this looks like that. This doesn't look like either of them. So why would I use the SMT relative to YM? whenever YM looks a little bit different here. So to me, I'm using ES, SMTs on the lows. And for me to get short again here, I would need a cycle SMT. I would need a cycle SMT between ES and NQ, and I just don't have it right now. So if you want to play devil's advocate, you could say, hey, you should have left your stop above the SMT highs, and maybe, yeah, I should have, and it would still be safe because all this did was close below, retest, and possibly continuing lower, but it's just not how I play it. So we came down and tested here. So we're already in a high resistance environment because we violated this discount array. Okay, violated it. We need to get back above it. Basically, 2 minutes here, guys, and I'm going to shut this down and be done because the rule is if the SMR is in before the macro, you can trade during the macro and only during the macro. Now, if you're taking this long, the SMR is in during the macro, so you can trade during the macro and outside the macro. So if I was long here, closing back above, now I would take a long on the retest. There's SMT on these lows right here. I don't know why it's not showing up though, but there's a tiny cycle SMT here. Yeah, I mean, there's a tiny SMT. So we have 656, 656, and then if we look at ES, yeah, I think that's an error actually, because those are equal lows. Let's look. Let's look at the 3-minute chart. It's the easiest to see. 656, 656, and then these lows are 40125. Yeah, that's not an SMT. I don't know why the indicator says that. Disregard. Stop would still have to be below the SMR. Couple minutes here. All right. Basically, that SMR would be in. Take your long. Stop could go here. There's no SMT, so really your stop would have to go there until we form another SMT. Targeting the high of the day. Let me go back to this, and then we could extend the target up to the next number, which is 750. That would be a long, and you can see risk reward is just not there. 2.76. So I'm okay with not taking that, really. It's quite risky in my opinion. You could tighten it up and have a 5R risk, but then these lows aren't protected. So what I'm going to do is leave this here, be done trading, done hitting buttons, and I'm going to put on these arrays and check back on this later just to see how it would have played out. Hopefully you guys took away some pretty good knowledge from this. I mean, I know it's long, super long, but fast forward it if you need to, rewind it, whatever. But like, this is how I trade every day, and it's good to see it live and to have the commentary, so that way you know like it's more than just a picture that I send you guys. And hopefully you guys can take a lot of value from this and implement this in your own trading. I mean, if you're going to trade reversals, you have to use the things I use. If you're not trading reversals, then just disregard. But if you're going to trade a reversal, use the SMT, use the protocol that I use. Use JME's protocol, use Zusi's protocol. They're the best at trading in the reversal. So it's not for everybody. It's slow. It's very few trades a week. And that's just how I like it, though, honestly. Because if I get in here and scalp and take 100 trades, I'm going to go on tilt at some point. So I have to have these strict rules and strict protocol to keep me out of certain situations and keep me from just burning a hole in my wallet. So I'm going to end this now, and I'll post this in the Discord for you guys. Hopefully you guys watch it.